Alright, so I previously made a few videos detailing the unhinged Facebook posts Fiona Harvey wrote on her personal Facebook account earlier this year. The last one I made covered all of her posts from May 2nd, so now I'm going to pick up where I left off and cover May 3rd on this video. Also, there are a lot of other court documents from the Netflix lawsuit I need to go over for other videos, but my free trial has ended and it now will cost me $49 to access the documents and then 15 cents per page to download. So if you'd like for me to cover these other court documents, I will need the money to do so. I have a PayPal link on my homepage and in the description if anyone would like to donate to help me cover the costs so I can download some of these court documents for new videos. Sorry I've been on a bit of a hiatus the last few weeks as I've had some personal matters to deal with, but hopefully in October I'll be a lot more active and try to upload a slew of new videos. If I can get enough donations to help with the costs of these documents, I'll be able to create a good bit of new content. Let me know in the comments which of these court documents pertaining to the Netflix lawsuit you'd like for me to cover on a new video. Alright, so let's get to these Facebook posts from May 3rd. London is mayhem. I booked a taxi last night. It took me 20 minutes to do so. She was so slow at doing the booking. Now I can't get through to the company. It takes just hours to do basic things in this town. Folk just don't answer phones. It becomes more of a banana republic daily. It's pretty bad with everything you try to do. I'm amazed. In Scotland, phones would be answered and that would be done in 2 minutes flat. Calls take me half an hour in London. I have to repeat my name and number multiple times. Or I hardly have a big long name and they don't listen and can't work computers. This is youngsters who are from England and first language is English is totally pathetic. It's every call center and I have to speak so slowly it's not true. I also don't have a broad Scottish accent. It was bad before the pandemic, now it's diabolical. And it's not me. All my friends are moaning about this palaver too. The problem is I don't have the Uber app or Black Cab app on this phone. Private hearses don't turn up on time. That last driver last week was an hour late. My pal booked an Uber for me on his phone. It turned up within 4 minutes. Private hires in London useless. London needs to get its act together over basic facilities. We LL had a discussion about this years ago. Tourists think they'll come here and it's all gonna be new gardens, lovely parks, and nice. It's no toilets, crap food, drunken bars, no taxis, no facilities, folk being rude to them. We were remarking in any other country you kind of don't get this. Holidays are quite nice usually. We had a situation where the taxi driver was new last week, couldn't speak any English. He'd been in the neighboring street an hour, couldn't tell me where he was, nor could the booking office. I speak several languages. I couldn't understand a word. Oh, we are so sorry, said the booking office. So sorry, he's new. I mean, FFS, it's beyond pathetic. Please let that not happen today. This meeting is important. You are having to book taxis in London an hour or two before. Well, how interesting. A Scot picked up the phone at the booking office. He's on all day, thank God. We don't get many Scots in London anymore. It's such a terrible place to live. I, bookling done paid for, didn't have to repeat every word 10 times, hyper efficient. I mean, you book a taxi normally to save time and all that. It's usually a full-time job. Doing so in London, it's a mundane activity in Scotland. I've known Scots who come to London and leave to go back home in days, or they stay a bit, go home to Scotland and move abroad anywhere but England because it's a bloody mess. I've also noticed a lot of homeless Scots in London because they stand up for themselves with landlords. Scotsland and England are just two different worlds. Scots have traditionally come to England to earn more money. The quality of life in London, though, is crap. Thank God for that wee Scottish boy, though, has made life a lot less stressful today. I'm back early, but only here for 20 minutes. I've been invited to join a baby reindeer Fiona Harvey support group. I didn't know Gad was jerking off to me, as you put it. I've not seen the show. I'm too frightened, LOL. I've got to chuckle at you lot. That group is a laugh. He's taken up so much of my time already, I'm way behind with other more important things. Much as that group amuses me, I'm still not watching the show. God, what a laugh you lot are. My TV aerial hasn't arrived. Not promising, but may look at it later. Does Gad not need to consult all his shrinks and Fat Martha before he before he jerks off, as you so politely put it? Ha ha ha. One thing I will say about Gad, he'll do anything for money. Still laughing, but it's true. I've met some carpetbaggers in my time in law and politics, but Gad is the ultimate media whore. LOL. I've not seen this baby reindeer. I've just met someone who's seen it. Martha Sakua. Martha sexually assaults Gad in a canal, throws a glass at his head, attacks him over the bar. Sorry guys, not guilty. I don't know anyone who's done that to Richard Gad. Then something about his parents, Martha, is to show attacks them. Sorry guys, not me. Then Martha pleads guilty to all charges. This person has watched a fair bit of the show. No one goes anywhere near that canal. I think they found bodies in it. You walk over a bridge over the canal to get to Chalk Farm Road. Dealers operate in the Halley Arms and by the canal. And here we are at 11:42 a.m., Fiona writes. Anyway, I'm off to do important things. And here we are at 11:46, just 4 minutes later. I guess Fiona took care of all of those important things. I hate to be a wee bit of a clever dick here, but someone assaulting sexually someone in a canal right in the middle of Camden. Kind of did no one think this play is maybe not real? Camden is erratic and mad, but there will be police everywhere, LOL. Well, I've had a laugh this afternoon, guys. Okay, so I guess she really is off to do more important things now. And here we are, not even half an hour later, she writes, hilarity and slapstick humor aside, I can categorically say being attacked in a canal, glasses thrown over bars. I would have heard on the Camden grapevine if that had happened to Gad. I don't see for 1 minute how Gad and Netflix can bill this as a true story. To my knowledge, no one has ever attacked Gad in any way. I don't know about this R thing. This only came to press attention when he was doing press for another show. Someone drew it to my attention. It was in The Guardian. Loads of things happen in Camden and in the Hockey Arms. Drug bust-ups, all sorts, people having sex in there in full view of others. I've heard all this, but never seen it. I only ever went to the Hockey Arms the day to eat. I've never seen it at night, but I know folk who have. Licensing should have shut them down years ago. A couple of slapstick jokes and a crazy play doesn't justify dragging me through the media circus for 2 weeks. We also think the person who gave the press my number came from Gad's team or lives in Camden. The press did not have my number. Sears was setting me up. He's a very nasty journalist. Don't deal with him. He asked me for info. I have him. 3 hours on tape, the rest by voicemail. He's really, really thick. I deemed him too dense and twisted to deal with, so I stopped talking to him. So instead, he wrote about the guy who claims he didn't R Gad and got the mail on Sunday to repeat word for words the Laura Walker attack 25 years ago when I was going for Westminster. I was unaware his photographer had taken that photo. All I said was, F off, Neil. Stop texting me constantly about fluffy reindeers. I think to come into my home and take 3 hours then twist the story is a bit much. No photos, he said. I've written to his editor, that's all. He has published photos without my consent. He got frightened when Gad's lawyers threatened him. I was on the phone to the Daily Record. He phoned me on another line. Don't speak to that bee, he said. Well, John Dingwall, is not a bee. He's highly educated, polite, and very nice. Neil Sears is as thick as 10 short planks. The most I said to Sears was F off, and I told him I was going to the Press Complaints Commission. He's a total nut job, and he's clearly had run-ins with Gad or his team or both. He phoned me 5 times for ages after he left me, so he was on my phone all day Wednesday. Then I met with him most of Thursday. The deadline for Gad's lawyers getting back to him was noon. Then he made up some story they had to extend the time. Neil Sears of the Daily Mail told Gad's lawyers where Barra & Co. My internet coverage on his phone is bad, but there is no such firm. Then Sears said he didn't know. Then Sears said Gad's lawyer said I should be done right over. Sears is a liar. His story keeps changing. If he comes near me again, I'll call police. That also applies to his Neanderthal photographer. Funny how I wrote all this about Sears last week. He's got nothing to write because I won't talk to him, so he retaliates IJ this way this afternoon. The more he acts like a silly kid, the more the Mail are likely to fire him. He's had run-ins with Russell Brand and all sorts of folk. Neil Sears was ordering me about my own home. My leg was very bad. He's bonkers. Someone has posted The Sun. The Sun reporter is very stupid. I knew Donald Dewar well. I went for his parliamentary seat when he retired from Westminster. The Sun have just regurgitated what Laura Walker said, which was a pack of lies 25 years ago. I had not seen these articles, just heard about them, so thanks for posting them. I don't have time to goggle up piles of lies from 25 years ago, and The Sun is presenting that hatchet job by Laura Walker as fact. It's pathetic. That's why other journalists are saying don't read it, i.e. the ones with degrees. Neil Sears and Robert at The Sun are too thick to be even bog standard journalists. Neil Sears was trying to make up stories about me and Gad and was trying to put words into my mouth. I will not reveal confidential details I know about Gad, i.e. things told me in confidence. I repeat, I will not reveal confidential details about Gad or anyone else told to me in confidence. I've never been that kind of person. But Neil Sears is a worm. I just happened to see that before I went put again. Any requests for legitimate info, I left Sears. Nothing more or less, but it was clear to me from the get-go he didn't know what he was doing. I know what I know, and I'm not making up stories. Unlike Neil Sears, I tell the truth. I've not spoken to Neil Sears since last Thursday. He wouldn't tell me when the story I have him was coming put. The article was taken put if his hands because he wrote an article with a woman I don't know. I've since spoken to people suing the Daily Fail who have all had the same experience with Sears. Well, Sears, I'll give you a mention on TV next week as being less than impressive intellectually. How's that? Now I have got to go and meet people. I just happened to see the Mail and Sun nonsense quite by accident while reading what someone else wrote. It's a pile of nonsense. Neil Sears is, in my opinion, an alcoholic. He didn't know what the story he was supposed to be writing. The Sun journalist is catching up 25 years late. Neil pretends he can read and write. He can't. The Sun guy is very intellectually limited. This doesn't even make good copy because the story of Laura Walker was out there years ago. The story is Gad's play. Alright, so here we are nearly 4 hours later. Can you believe it? Fiona nearly went 4 hours without writing a Facebook post. Now I'm just back home. I went out for a meal with friends and I had another essential thing to do that was very urgent and should have been done a week ago. All my really good pals have suffered over the baby reindeer media circus and we are now suing people. Okay, so I guess all of Fiona's friends are also suing Netflix, which essentially just means Netflix only has one lawsuit to deal with because Fiona doesn't actually have any friends to sue. I have already turned down one TV appearance last week. I am, however, appearing on a better TV show next week to tell the real story of baby reindeer. I tell the truth, Gad doesn't. I hope you will tune in. I also have other publicity things in store for you next week suggested by a good friend. All I can say at this point is Gad did not write that show himself, particularly the jokes. Neil Sears, you should have your letter from my lawyer already. I would no doubt comment on the odd article if it's defamatory of me. I won't be looking at them till Sunday night. I'm very busy with my fiance till then. Oh yeah, what's his name, Fiona? We're still waiting to see him. He's a litigator and that's all you get to know. Where is he, Fiona? Who is this boyfriend / fiance of yours? 4 months later and we're still waiting for an appearance. He's not G like Gad. Someone was asking who he was. Yeah, we're all asking who he was. It's just so funny that he hasn't come out publicly to defend you one time since all of this started. Gad is G and has made too much money out of me already. New rules. No one, especially in England, gets to take the piss out of me anymore. She's got a new attitude. Yeah, new attitude. Gad would never have got to go out with me. I don't like sick twists. Whether he was genuine or taking the piss egged on by his G mates, we'll never know, because it suits him to portray me as Martha. He's made lots of dough out of it. My friends are really angry with Gad and his media circus in the Daily Fail. Okay, Fiona, just name one. Just one friend. I've got piles and piles on things not done because of this 2-week circus, so would the publicist who keeps phoning me talking abuse please let me know who exactly she worked for? We have traced her to the Sun. She's got 24 hours or I publish her mobile online. If any journalists or anyone else even raises their voice to me, they'll get police at their door. I'm not suffering fools anymore. I'm deadly serious about this. I'm not putting up with it. In England particularly, people mistake softness for daftness, kindness for daftness. I'm not bloody daft. I'll be exposing Richard Gad. And as for Fat Jessica, well, let's just say I have information maybe Lorraine Kelly is lapping it up. Maybe Lorraine Kelly is lapping it up. No one else is. I will let you know when the program airs. I think there will be several. I've got too much to say. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, I'm far better looking and more interesting than Gad. Folk from Dundee are usually boring smackhead-s. I was also advised by good lawyers and good journalists not to deal with Neil Sears. They told me he was a B. I stopped dealing with him. They similarly advised me not to deal with the Sun. I have all the recordings and threats from these 2 reporters. Lawyers have advised to do these TV shows. I think people would be better employed looking at all the trouble Gad has been in and his criminality. I would dearly love to clean up this cesspit of wolves in the media. No one else has really tried properly. I didn't really enjoy that meal. The restaurant was too hot. People down here ate neurotic about windows being left open. It was 40°S in that restaurant. Ow, my foot's sore. I need those 2 operations on it. Damn sore. Where the hell do you get baby reindeer-s this time of year? My friend is joking he wants one. I don't have any, and I'm not asking Gad and Fat Martha. We are hardly on speaking terms, LOL. Baby reindeer are a Christmas thing, I'm telling him. It's being promoted with coffee now. It's pissing him off. Steve Adams won the Tories a seat in Frognall. Good. Camden Labour needs a kick up the ass. He's been trying to do it from the sidelines. Gould looks rough in the photos. Rough. There were also 50 missed calls on private numbers last week. I've counted them up. That was the Sun and Daily Mail before they got hold of me. It was not any other newspaper. They hunted me down like a dog. Totally unacceptable, and they twist stories and write crap for days after. I've checked with businesses, etc. They weren't the missed calls. I've itemized everything. I've not spoken to Neil Sears since last Wednesday. He asked for ludicrous info. He was told to F off in response to his swearing. He was still phoning me on Thursday and Friday. I asked him on Friday what he'd written. He ignored me on Saturday. He texted at 10, the article's done. The article was all Gad Pulley City and an attack on me. He's about as ignorant as that Sarah Vine and as bitchy. Next we'll get stupid Sarah Vine attacking. Sears and Vine are like peas in a pod, nasty wee non-entities. Fleet Street is criminal with its nonsense. All the Y ever do is backbite. So at 4, he sent me the Sun article which named me. That was to distress me on Saturday. Then he sent me his own. I'll call police if he or Vine or anyone from the Daily Mail come near me. We are now suing the Mail. So I have not harassed Neil Sears in any way, and I don't like his comments about the Scots. I don't like comments like, don't deal with those Scottish CNT journalists. It's Neil Sears who has been the CNT and the SUNG guy spurned on by his English paymasters. No wonder England is a mess. He started the racist gives. His hatred is visceral. High S little England mentality pathetic. It's do everything I say or I'll turn on you. That's the Mail. All their journalists do it. It was all this say you were in relationships with Gad. Well, I wasn't. I don't know the relationship and history of Gad and the Daily Fail, but they've been beyond nasty to me with their nasty, vicious mentality. They hate the Scots. Most of their reporters are beyond thick. He marched in here just about ruining my reconstituted wood table with his coffee. He's a total B. He had no respect for me, my property, my diabetic welfare that day. I got to eat when he said so. No wonder I told him to F off, and that Sarah Vine, more about her tomorrow. I've heard so much more about Daily Mail journos. From the get-go, Neil Sears says he hated Gad. I've never seen such visceral hatred. It's an English thing, we don't get it in Scotland, and the sooner the two countries split, the better. He wanted Gad done right over. Gad's been a right wee bee, but I can't make up lies. Neil Sears wanted me to lie. I'm not doing it. He can all he wants, but I won't. The article he wrote was also not in proper English and grammatically incorrect. Well, we all know Fiona hates to be grammatically incorrect. She is such a stickler for grammar. The article he wrote was also not in proper English and grammatically incorrect. He also said he and only he would write the article. No, they brought in some woman I have never heard of. He's just a nasty, petty little man. No newspaper can defend that behavior. He was warned to stay away from me. And why is he writing this now? 'Cause I won't talk to him. He's got to make things up. Roll on, Scottish independence. If I had been some inkish twit soaking up to Neil and lying, the treatment would have been different. You just got to look at the state of the lawyers acting for the Mail. Lies, lures, lies. No one trusts them. Well, he's not ruining another weekend. I have places to be tomorrow. Inkish lies wear me put. I'm not listening to it. He did not write a word of what we discussed. He was left very few messages. He kept pestering me for more info. He's also pestered another barrister who threatened him with legals. It's Tylical Daily Fail. I've never been a fan. As I say, I'll read his full thing on Sunday. The likes of Neil Sears want me being upset reading this crap all day long. Sorry, not playing, Neil. The Mail always attack on Fridays, Sundays. Then they get drunk all weekend. I've heard. This will be the last time Neil Sears doorstops anyone. Neil Sears also got hold of my home number. The new internet providers had not made it X directory the withheld button. Hadn't worked. We be now changed that number because of Neil Sears and may move house. He phoned me on that number as I was talking to the Daily Record in Scotland. John Dingwall of the Daily Record is softly spoken, highly educated, and been a journalist since 1980. His manners are impeccable. He's a lovely guy. I will not have Neil Sears saying, screaming, get off the phone to that Scottish bee, you've talked to him long enough. Neil Sears thought he owned me. John gets things is one take, he's bright. With Neil Sears, you really are dealing with the great brain dead. It's the same questions over and over designed to make you crack. Neil had been told I was meeting with VIPs Thursday. Then he said that's not the time you said. No, I'm not answerable to Sears. He's not my FG employer. He does not pay me. I said I'm running late. Get that Daily Record B off the phone. No, Neil. Sadly, he was taped by me saying this. What a bloody liberty to phone me up on the home phone. 5 Raymond buildings act for the Mail, usually badly. Most of them just have the CPE and are underqualified. Their participation in Levison resulted in sexual scandals and incompetence. Shillings also make a hash of cases here, so do Doughty Street. That's why journalists get to behave like that in England. Incompetent barristers allow it. That's why the Johnny Depp litigation was such a mess. Well, out of town tomorrow again, so I'll say goodnight. Alright, well, that was at 8:03. Okay, so 12 minutes later at 8:15, she writes, Neil Sears doesn't know what diabetic means and doesn't know it's a disability. Too thick. It's right up there in the Equality Act with cancer and epilepsy. Ellie, you don't need to prove it like mental health conditions, for example. I said I need to break for proper food now. No, said he. More on his reaction to my diabetes later. No wonder he got told to F off. I was at the end of my tether with him. England needs to be educated regarding diabetes. I'll do it Sunday, Monday. English education in schools and unis is so bad. So bad. Oh, but Neil Sears knows everything, doesn't he? Silly me. I'm the one with all the qualifications. He's got nothing. That's why he's like this. Highly educated Scots should not move to a banana republic like England. Gad also made fun of my diabetes. So did Joe Boss, the alcoholic, permanently stoned manager at the Holly Arms. Other members of staff didn't. Particularly James Cox and Ronnie didn't. Nice folk. Sorry, that should have read Craig Seymour, the permanently stoned Aussie manager of the Holly Arms. I said, look, Richard, you can't say that word ever. It's not acceptable. What did he do? He said it more and more. And remember, I was a paying customer. It was dreadful. How can that be funny? It's just obscene. Take note, Netflix. The chef at the Holly Arms thought he was a user. Mark is a very nice guy. He was sacked probably because he's a nice guy. He and James 20 times better looking than Gad. They got all the gurks. They are not gay, of course. Ronnie's staff member told Gad to calm down often. He was so hypermanic. I witnessed one occasion got told others. He was like an autistic child running around the nursery, out of control at work. It was painful to watch. I really don't think Netflix realized what they got themselves into. They have not done their research. Gad's sister is a nurse. I've been hearing Todsy of some of her scenes with patients. She's put of control like him, apparently. I think Neil Sears always intended to do me over, so I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised that people like that make up nonsense. I'm not surprised they set people up. They all have an agenda. It's been going on years. You never know what they'll make up next. The more fantastic, the better in their books. When Neil Sears referred to me as being strange last weekend, I knew we were in for trouble. That was Saturday's article. He never once said that to my face. That's Fleet Street for you, knives in the back. Neil Sears is good at telling lies and making people upset. Brown shoes, blue trousers, mess. Trying to give up, smoking. He's like irritable bowel. Alright, so that concludes all her Facebook posts from May 3rd. Now I've made videos covering her Facebook posts from April 25th through May 3rd. And it's taken me 5 videos just to cover those 9 days. So after May 3rd, she does still have some posts she wrote on her Facebook account, but it did slow down a great deal. I can cover her posts from May 4th through May 6th on another video. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. So that's about it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and God bless.